Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of our show. I'm Hari.
And I'm Kimi. Today we're taking a fascinating, slightly bittersweet look back at a legendary piece of gaming history that never officially made it to store shelves, Sam and Max Freelance Police.
This is truly the ultimate what-if for adventure game fans. Developed by LucasArts in the early 2000s, Freelance Police was meant to be the direct sequel to the iconic 1993 point-and-click classic, Sam and Max Hit the Road.
For those who need a quick refresher, Sam and Max are an incredibly quirky duo. Sam is an anthropomorphic trench-coat-wearing dog, and Max is a self-described hyperkinetic rabbity thing. They first debuted in a brilliant 1987 comic book series by Steve Purcell.
The sequel was officially announced in August 2002 and showcased at E3 in 2003, with a release targeted for early 2004. What's interesting is how they designed it. While older LucasArts games used the Scum and Grime engines, this one used a brand new 3D engine. It actually incorporated elements from other LucasArts titles like Gladius, RTX Red Rock, and even Star Wars Obi-Wan.
That's a very cool technical detail. They used graphical features like shaders, bump maps, and light maps to apply a 3D effect to 2D textures, which gave it a very distinct look. But despite the 3D graphics, they abandoned the keyboard-based controls of Grim Fandango and went right back to the classic point-and-click style.
They also planned 19 different minigames, some optional, some required, and built the game so you couldn't die or get permanently stuck in a dead end. But the real charm was in the story structure. Lead designer Michael Stemmel, who worked on the original 1993 game, described it as 6 individual cases held together by a wild Uber plot.
And those cases sounded incredibly wacky. They would take the Freelance Police to a space station and even a neo-pagan bacchanal to fight freakish bad guys. Steve Purcell himself assisted with the plot and provided gorgeous concept art. They also brought back Flint Paper, their rough-and-tumble private investigator neighbor, giving him a critical role.
There was also a fascinating debate behind the scenes about how to sell the game. The development team actually wanted to release it in an episodic format using digital distribution, but the company's management rejected the idea, preferring traditional retail boxes. They were also planning downloadable bonus content, like new power-ups and entirely new cases. It's wild how ahead of its time that episodic idea was. And speaking of crazy details, some of the planned plot points were later revealed in the game Poker Night 2. In that game, Sam references an off-screen adventure involving giant penguins from Subarctica, or Zizobia, who worshipped Max as their god.
That is peak Sam and Max humor right there. Another incredible lesser-known fact is that one of the game's major plot points involves Sam and Max switching brains. The voice actors, Bill Farmer and Nick Jameson, were actually set to swap and do hilarious impressions of each other's characters.
I would have given anything to hear that. Sadly, the production came to a sudden, heartbreaking halt. In March 2004, LucasArts abruptly canceled Freelance Police, citing economic and market conditions. This was actually the second canceled Sam and Max project, following another called Plunge Through Space.
The reaction from fans in the industry was overwhelmingly negative. Many journalists saw this as the definitive end of the adventure game genre. Even worse, the cancellation happened so suddenly that some gaming magazines accidentally published glowing, highly positive previews of the game after the cancellation was announced.
That is so awkward. A fan site named Save Sam and Max even presented a petition with over 32,000 signatures to LucasArts, but it was no use. Steve Purcell expressed deep frustration, praising the team's brilliant work in retooling the characters for the 21st century, and calling the decision incredibly short-sighted.
And the voice actors were treated terribly too. Bill Farmer revealed in a 2014 interview that he and Nick Jameson were never officially told about the cancellation. He had to find it out by looking it up online. He was so disappointed because he felt the writing was some of the best he had ever performed.
It's just mind-boggling. According to Stemmel, the corporate decision was based on an external marketing analysis claiming that the European market for adventure games had simply disappeared. A German company called Bad Brain Entertainment tried to negotiate to buy the game, but nothing came of it.
Following the cancellation, LucasArts dismissed many of their adventure game designers and essentially walked away from the genre. But this tragedy actually led to something amazing. Several of the laid-off developers banded together in June 2004 to form Telltale Games, specifically to keep making the adventure games LucasArts abandoned.
Telltale tried to buy the rights to Freelance Police to finish it, but when that failed, they waited until the LucasArts license expired in 2005. Steve Purcell then brought the franchise to Telltale, leading to the highly successful 2006 episodic series, starting with Sam and Max Save the World. Although they couldn't use any of the assets from the canceled game, the spirit lived on. It is incredible how a major cancellation paved the way for the modern episodic gaming revolution. Well, that wraps up our look at this lost masterpiece. Thank you so much for listening, everyone.
This episode is based on the Wikipedia article Sam and Max Freelance Police, which is available under the Creative Commons Attribution Share-alike license. This podcast was crafted using artificial intelligence.